Honestly, I was thinking about my 3 young kids because I had a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And it was like you start thinking like about a bucket list, like if I don't make it, what are we gonna do? So I was 38 years old and I was starting just have odd symptoms, like feeling like I had to go to the bathroom, but I couldn't completely pass it. And then I noticed blood in my stool. Luckily, I knew that one grandparent on my mom's side had cancer and one on my father's side had cancer. And then my uncle had colon cancer at a younger age. And so sharing that information with the GI doctor, he said, you should get in for a colonoscopy. So a month later, I went in and had my first colonoscopy. He came in after and said that he had found a large mass, he couldn't get the scope past it, and that he wanted me to go in the afternoon to get a CT scan. We found that it didn't spread, so I met with actually 2 surgeons. 10 days later, I found out that I did also test positive for Lynch syndrome. And so from there, I had to make a decision whether or not I was just going to remove that portion where they found the mass. I had the option to remove the majority of my colon. Also, Lynch syndrome is tied to endometrial cancer. And since I was done having children, I had to decide whether or not I wanted to have a hysterectomy. So I would say all within like a couple weeks, all those decisions were being made. So I decided, on the recommendation of my surgeon, was to have the majority of my colon removed. I have like a small section left. And then I went ahead and had a hysterectomy. It's funny, I feel like the good news just kept coming after each test, if that makes sense. So after my CT scan, it didn't spread. So there was kind of a sense of relief, like, okay, it's all in my colon. And then we found out I had Lynch, which, it's actually a blessing in disguise because Lynch syndrome tends, when you have colon cancer, it doesn't spread as quickly. So although my mass was very large in my colon and they couldn't get the scope past it, it didn't spread. So that's why I was only at stage 2. And Lynch syndrome patients tend to not respond very well to chemo. So my oncologist didn't recommend it. So I said I had to thank cancer just for where I am right now, because if I didn't go through that, I know I would still be teaching. Not that I don't love teaching or didn't love teaching, but I was just going through the motions and I was missing out on so much with my kids and my family, and the stress level was just so high. And it allowed me to just slow down and just kind of reevaluate and be where I'm supposed to be right now. So I decided to just start sharing my life on social media, sharing my life on Instagram and Facebook, a little bit on TikTok, and just trying to connect and maybe inspire people to live their best life too.